Welcome boys. In this video we're going to be replacing the engine oil in our 2010 Camaro SS with a 6.2 liter LS3 V8. First order of business is get the car off the ground, which I've already done. Jacked it up. We have the jack stands placed underneath and on the pinch welds. The car is in first gear with the emergency brake on. And on the right rear wheel, I have a wheel chock. Jack stand on this side is in the exact same location, underneath on the pinch weld. Now this car holds almost 8 quarts of oil. I believe it's like 7.9 or thereabouts. I might be confusing it with the BMW, but it's nearly 8 quarts. So first order of business, now that we've got all that done, we need to allow the air to come in. Once we loosen our drain plug, and then take our oil filter out. So we slither underneath. The drain plug is aimed towards the left side of the car. And then if we move a little bit further back under the support beam here, we have the oil filter. It's an M1 113A. It's a Mobile 1 extended filter. If I can get you a shot at it. There she is. That's the heavy duty M1 113 Mobile 1 oil filter. I forget how long it says it's good for, like 15,000 miles or something. We don't have anywhere near the mileage on this car. I still have 75% oil life. I haven't changed the oil in 3 to 4 years. Well, I've only put a couple thousand miles on it since the last change. So we'll go ahead and loosen this drain plug and we'll start draining the oil. Okay, and to get our oil filter off, I usually use a giant set of channel locks, but we'll try one of these 3, either this clamp style, plier type style, or one of these adapters. We'll see which one works best. And it would seem the one that says 76mm 14 flute fits the new oil filter the best, so we'll try to get it off with that. The old one, that is. Okay, I'm going to assume you guys can see something. 15 mil takes this drain plug off. Yeah. And we're going to try not to make a mess. Okay, not too bad. Alright, that's draining nicely. I did put a paint mark on the oil pan and on this drain plug, so I'll know where to put it back without over tightening or having it too loose. Once this gets done doing its drain, move on to the oil filter, which should also be in frame. I'll wait for that. I guess I can take the magnet off because that's not going to be needed. Okay, and this is what we're going to be putting back in it. This is a box, 12 quarts of 5W30 Mobile 1. Full synthetic. That's all the details of it. That's how much oil we took out of the car. So it's about 2 gallons, like I said. I think the spec is 7.9, but I just round that to 2. And then this is the new oil filter. I always fill mine with new oil before I thread it in, since this does sit level. There's many arguments on that. Some say, but you're putting it in the filter, and therefore, once it's pumped straight up in the engine on startup, it's not actually going through the filter. because it has to be, you know, filtered to been pumping in the engine. My argument to that is it's new oil and thus clean. But other people would swear, no, you dump it in the engine, just do your dry start, and then blah, 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 blah. So I'll let you decide what you want to do, but I fill my oil filter with new oil, then thread it on. That way it doesn't have a dry start. Alternatively, if you watch my BMW oil change videos, you can't pull the fuse for the fuel injection system and just crank the engine, and then it will build oil pressure without actually starting it. So you got 3 options. But for the BMW, I do the crank method, no start, to build oil pressure. For the every other car that has a filter that sits in like this, so that it does not tilt or can pour out, I go ahead and fill it. And then start it with clean new oil that has not been technically filtered yet. Okay, and that looks pretty good. We got like one random drop here, so we use any excess to kind of lubricate our new seal. And do check to make sure that the old seal comes off with the old oil filter. Mine did. Mine always has. There's not been one time it hasn't. That may or may not be because I do put a thin layer on here before sealing it. But I always have coated this seal, and I've never had a seal stick. So maybe those two things are related, maybe they're not. So let's go thread it back under the car. Okay, and I've already put everything back in, so I've spared you that part, but as you can see, that's back where the paint marker was. And because I always use the same oil filter, and they're made in assembly line, you hand tighten your oil filter. I know exactly how far it is hand tightened, because just like when I showed you earlier, I can see what kind of oil filter it is between that gap, M1 113A. So when I know that that part of the sticker lines up with that gap, it's hand tightened as much as you need to. And then I have my oil filter magnet reinstalled. So we'll go up top and fill her back up with the remaining oil, which should equal almost 8 quarts when we're done. Okay, from here we just open her up until she gets as full as she needs to. Now, admittedly, this is going to be kind of hard to gauge how much oil you have put in it compared to if you had it in a jug. But all my spare oil jugs have been used for used oil, so I don't have any new ones, so we're going to have to guesstimate when we've got almost 8 quarts in here and then go by the dipstick. But if you have an actual jug, or you do what I normally do and transfer this to some jugs, you'll be able to know exactly how much you need to put in. But for me, this will be a process of just adding and checking the dipstick until it's where it needs to be. So that's pretty much it for this video. After this, just reset your oil life monitor, and then you're good to go until your next oil change. So hope this helped. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll catch you boys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.